Welcome to the yoga practice. We will start the practice lying on the back to just release the spine, and I would invite you to let your toes to fall apart. To start with, place your heels on the corners of the mat, maybe a little bit apart, allow some space. And just note how you feel in the hip area by adjusting the legs wider. The same I would invite you to do with your hands. Let your hands be a little bit away from the hips, maybe turning the hands up toward the ceiling. And just note how you feel in the shoulder area. Maybe squeeze the shoulder blades and then relaxed. Let's take a couple of inhalations and exhalations, just admitting the beginning of the practice. And then from here, I will invite you to start turning your right toe toward the midline and out. So basically the movement, when I give you instructions to think of your big toe, but the movement starts in your hip. So you internally and externally rotate your hip. So a very, very minor movement in the hip, but notice how everything works together. So you thinking of the toe to take it out and in, but shin is moving, knee is just a hinge between the ankle and the hip. So let's do it 1 or 2 times just to understand the connection between the foot and the hip. And then we'll do the same with the left. So let's turn the left foot in, left foot out. A couple of times, trying to keep the foot flexed though. So when you are flexing the foot, this way you are kind of locking the knee and connecting better the ankle to the hip. Notice how the thigh bone is just moving in the hip socket. And then last one, and let's release. So let us move to one side of the body. So just go to position that you can see the camera. So you can use your, I'm going to my right side and I'm using my right arm as the pillow. So something that comfortable as long as you see the camera, and your right leg is on the floor. You can bend the right knee to just give a little bit more support. And then we will be going with a circular movement with the left leg. So bring your left bent knee toward the front, toward the chest, then move it toward the shoulder. But when you do that, don't rotate with your torso back. Think of aligning your back with the posterior imaginary wall, and then move the knee away and then continue. So very simple circles of the hip. Go as big circle as you're able to go. So make sure that you, I can see some of you, let's stop here. So let's stop here in this position where the knee is up. So you externally rotate your hip to the maximum. You should feel a little bit of a burden in your inner thigh when you do that. And then go with this position to kind of touch your heel or your ankle of the lower leg, and then only then close, like a clam, close the knee, and then again open here, move it slightly away, and then bring it in. Yes, so this way. Maybe one more time. Start feeling that your glute is working on some point here to help you. So try to open the knee a little bit more here toward the ceiling, and then move the leg a little bit away to touch the ankle with the left toe, and then move it across. And then let us just change the direction. Same movement, same leg, but just a different direction. So you should feel here on the glute area, you finding that the muscle is responsible for this movement. Yeah, so let's do 3 more with this direction. And then let us rotate to the belly. And you can watch me first. We will bring the forehead down on the palms, and we're going to bend the same leg. So we're working on the left leg here. Just open this into the 90 degree, and we're going to be lifting the heel, so internally rotating the hip, and then bring it down, okay? So 90 degree, if you don't see me, I'm going to move a little bit away. So you just lift, internally rotate the thigh, and then bring it back. So let's do this. So you are with the right side straight, your left knee bent 90 degree, comfortable position for the neck. And just on the knee, lift your left heel up. You can keep the foot flexed. Make sure that your heel not collapsing toward your glute. So you're having your knee 90 degree. And then return back. So you might feel a little bit uncomfortable on your knee. So do your best. Maybe support the knee with something when you rotate. So feel how the thigh bone rotate inward, and then you come to external rotation of the hip. Again, inward and external rotation. Let's do it 3 more times. Yes, very good. And come back. And again. Okay, so Barb, I see that you don't have your 90 degree knee. So make sure that you're 90 degree. What I'm gonna do here, I will turn this way so maybe it's clear for you. So you are in this knee out, and then you lift and bring it back. You lift and bring it back, okay? So let us now come into the tabletop position. And as you're setting yourself in a tabletop position, just scan your body. You definitely feel your left hip right now quite alive. Bring your right knee toward the midline of the mat and extend your left leg 90 degrees. You are in this position, okay? And from this position, we're gonna press the hips back, feeling some inner thigh stretch, and then return. So sending the hips back like you're going to one-legged child pose with the other leg extended to the side, and come back. So coming back into child pose, and again moving forward. Yeah, so just notice where you feel any restrictions in the hip, any stretches. Not so much restrictions probably, but more of the stretches for the left leg, and maybe stretches on the right glute. One more time, coming back and coming in. And let us just change the position. So we're coming to the side. So if you were on the right side, probably most of you were on the right side, you come to the left, and you can have your left knee bent. Use the left hand, and we will be going into circular movement. So bringing the knee in, then opening. So everybody just stop here. Make sure that you're in external rotation of the hip, knee pointed up. And then you're moving the leg a little bit away to tap your lower ankle. And then you close in the knee and coming again across, opening here, just moving to tap, and then go again. So let us have 5 more here. So just notice how this hip responds to comparison to the other side. And one more. And we'll finish the last one this direction, and then we'll change directions. So let's come with the knee in front, and then open first, then bring the knee toward the shoulder, and then close. Then open, bring the knee toward the shoulder, close. And again, open, bring the knee toward the shoulder, so a little bit of the hip flexion engagement here, and then close. One more time. So with this direction, notice how your glutes start working. So just a change in direction, a little bit different work for the muscles. And one more. And we're gonna rotate to the belly. So I'm turning this way, so you can see that my right knee is 90 degrees. So it's like a half frog. Here your left side is all straight. Your head is on the hands, and we're gonna just rotate the heel up. So the whole right side rotates in, and then you bring down. So opening and down. So it's important to have a knee as close to 90 degrees as you're able to set. Lift. So it might be very uncomfortable movement because we're not exercising the internal rotation of the hip, especially in the locked position. Locked position means that the rest of the body is aligned with the floor. So let us have here 3 more. And it's important to exercise internal rotation. A lot of yoga poses are exercising mostly the external rotation. All those frogs and child pose and the cross-legged position, they all exercise an external rotation. And let us now come into the tabletop position. And this time your right leg. So the same leg that you exercised for the previous two, you extend to the side. So you're in a tabletop position with the knee supported comfortably, and then you press the hips back like you're going into child pose and coming back into tabletop position. Pressing the hips back and coming into tabletop position. So it's exactly how you go to the child pose and coming back just with one leg. Let's do it 2 more times. Bring it back and come into the front. And the last one, going backward with the hips and coming back. And then let us just set the tabletop position. And here, let's go into a couple of cat and dog stretches. So this time, not just the pelvis moving, but also your neck. So press the chin down, long spine, lift the chin up. So let's have 3 more movements here. Maybe you're discovering some tightness along the spine. And then come to the tabletop position. Allow yourself to move your hands forward, tuck your toes, and come into your first downward dog of the practice. So maybe this first one, you feel like you want to pedal your heels down. So anything that feels right for you, and then bend your knees as much as needed. Elongate through the spine. Taking another exhale, and then let's drop the knees down to the floor. and come up into the kneeling position. So I hope everybody is comfortable on the knees. We're going to take the arms wide and we'll make a fist. Let's first do it without fist, so just understand the movement. Turn the right palm toward the screen and take the left palm backward, so front and back, and then change it. And then start changing as much as your shoulders can move. Okay, so not just the back and front, but even more, maybe toward the ceiling. So internal and external rotation of the shoulders. And when you found the movement, when you understand that, just make a fist, keeping your arms strong, and we'll just warm up the shoulders a little bit here. And your one shoulder comes completely into internal rotation, the other goes into external rotation. Let's have 2 more for each direction. And let's just shake the arms. Next one, we'll take the arms in front. Again, we're going to make a fist. And now just think that you're pulling something toward your chest, keeping your elbows straight, squeezing the shoulder blades. And then think that this pulls you backward, so you are rounding in your upper back. So your protraction and retraction. And when you do this, make sure that you're not doing this movement from the trapezius, but exercising the muscles that are around the shoulder blade. So squeeze and then hug yourself. Squeeze and hug yourself. Very good, everyone. Yes. Another one. And then we'll do the same movement with a bit of the body weight. So we're coming into tabletop position. And let us squeeze the shoulder blades. And let's just stop here. Take a look on the screen. So when you do that, you don't want to collapse with your belly down. You don't want to extend your lower back. You want to maintain as neutral as possible. And then you're puffing by pressing the palms into the mat. So I'll continue here. You should be quite experienced with this movement, but sometimes it's not coming easy. And it's very important understanding for the plank and downward dog, being aware of the muscles that controlling the shoulder blades. So let's do it one more time. And then just press it up. And then from here, extend your leg. Continue to keep the engagement on the upper back. Extend your legs, tuck your tailbone under, squeeze your glutes, hold your plank. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees down to the floor. Take your knees a little bit wider. Press the hips back and extend your arms forward. Bring the forehead down on the mat. And be active here. So walk your fingers away. Lift maybe even the wrists off the floor. Slide the shoulder blades toward the base of the spine. Like you want to make your upper back wider. And just feel a bit of your triceps working here. And let us even lift the forehead off the floor, but keep your head between the arms. So the position of the upper body right now, exactly what you do in your downward dog. So ears align with your arms. You pressing the palms to the mat, and think of like pulling the mat toward your knees. Extend your upper back to the side, so feel like you're becoming wide in your upper back. Just try to remember how that feels. Notice that your trapezius are not tense at all. It's very relaxed there. And let us now come into downward dog one more time and try to think of finding the same sensations for the upper back like you just had in the child pose, keeping knees bent, head between the arms, hold for 3, 2, 1. Look forward and walk toward the front of the mat. And then just allow your arms rest a little bit. Hang here for the couple of exhales, and then very slowly roll up into standing position. Exhale. So let us have a moment here in standing position. Maybe close your eyes. Rotate the palms toward the front. Try not to lift the chin too high. Maintain neutral position. And just notice some space in the shoulders. Hopefully you feel some space in your hips. We'll wake them up as well. And let's go to the sun salutation. And it's a beautiful sunny day today. With inhale, lift the arms up, palms facing each other. Bring the palms together, hinge from the hips, and come into full fold. Exhale. Bring the hands on the shins. Lift the chest halfway, shoulders back, body weight distributed equally. Touch the floor and step the left foot back and drop the left knee down to the floor. Untuck the toe. Bring the hands on the hips and lift the torso. Let's push the hips forward, so feel some stretch in the hip flexors. Let's bring the hands in front of your chest, and then just allow them to go up toward the ceiling. And then open the palms, palms facing the front, wider, so it's not just really wide in a wide position maybe. Push the hips forward, feel some stretch in the front of the chest. Then on exhale, bring the hands on the floor, tuck the left toes, and step into downward dog. Every time when you come into downward dog today, I would like you to exercise the sensations of the wide upper back, the one that we try to find in the child pose today. On next exhale, drop the knees down to the floor and step the left foot forward. Allow yourself to come in a couple of pulses here to open the right hip and then lift the torso up. Hold what it feels comfortable but stretchy. Bring the hands in front of the chest. Then lift the palms up toward the ceiling. And when you're ready, open the arms wide into wide position, keeping chest open. Taking another exhale. Then bring the hands on the floor, tuck the right toes, and step into the downward dog. Head between the arms, long spine. Exhale, and next inhale, move your shoulders forward into plank. Push the floor. So I feel a little bit of a puffing in between the shoulder blades up toward the ceiling. Neck is neutral. Drop the knees down and come all the way down to the floor. So let us set the arms into cactus pose and bring the forehead down on the floor. Your feet are comfortable distance here. And then let us lift the face maybe 2 inches off the floor and lift your forearms. So make sure your elbows are not going toward the rib cage. You maintain this cactus pose, your forearms parallel to the floor, and neck is relaxed. So press the forearms and elbows up toward the ceiling, and press it again toward the ceiling, and press it again toward the ceiling. And then bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage and press the hips into the child pose. Exhale. If you like, you can exercise again active child pose by having the palms on the mat, but your forehead might be even off the mat, and think of pulling the mat toward your knees, activating the shoulders, upper back, triceps. And then when you're ready, just tuck your toes and come into downward dog. Exhale. Let's have 3 exhales here. Every time in your downward dog, you also would like to create nice traction for the spine. On next inhale, look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Bring the hands on the shins, lift the chest halfway. And let us just bring the hands maybe on the knees or maybe even higher than your knees. You are in a hinge here. And you're not parallel to the floor. You might be a little bit higher. And let's now go toes, heels to bring the feet together. So knees together, feet together. And then bring your left hand against the right knee. Bring the right hand to your lower back. Gently twist to the right. So you're not rounded in your lower back. Lift your torso as high as you need to maintain the alignment here. On exhale, come back to the center. Bring the right hand against the left knee. Bring the left hand on your lower back. Twist to the left. Again, make sure that your chest is open. You're a little bit higher than 90 degrees. Unfold back to the center. And then press from the heels, elongate all the way up toward the ceiling. Exhale, bring the arms on the sides of the hips. So let's change the position of the feet back to the hip distance. And we'll flow again. With inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Passive fold from the hips. Bring the hands on the shins, lift the chest halfway. And then touch the floor and step the left foot back, and this time keep the knee off the floor. Come into the high lunge. Let's come to the high lunge and just have a moment to distribute the weight equally, so you're not standing on just your right leg. Bring the hands in front to the chest. And then we're going to go in the same position for the arms, taking the arms up toward the ceiling. And then opening palms wide. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the floor and step into downward dog. If it needs to be several moves to a transition to downward dog, is absolutely fine. Exhale. Then step the right foot a little bit closer to the midline for support, and step the left foot forward into lunge. Bring the hands on the hips, lift the torso up. Take a moment to find your stable position. Bring the hands in front of the chest, and then take your palms up toward the ceiling, and then open palms wide. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the floor and step into plank this time. Push the floor, hold the plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees down to the floor. Exhale down. This time we'll come into Y position for the arms, and we're going to start with the palms facing the floor. Get your strong lower body to support the lower back. Lift your face off the floor, but don't lift your chin. Your gaze is down to the floor. Then lift your arms. Palms are facing the floor. And then rotate your palms to face the ceiling as much as you're able to. And then pull the shoulder blades together to lift a little bit higher. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Take a breath and then press yourself into the child pose. Again, every time in child pose, you're welcome to practice the active child pose when you are just reminding your upper body how you can stabilize your shoulders. Exhale, look forward, tuck your toes, come into the downward dog. And take a moment here. On next inhale, look forward, walk to the front of the mat. Bring the hands to the shins, lift the chest halfway. And again, just bring your hands maybe on the knees. Bring toes and heels together. And then bring your right hand against your left knee. Bring the left hand to your lower back, twist to the left. Keep chest open. So think of alignment of your crown of the head upward. And then unfold back. Bring the left hand against your right knee and rotate to the other side. Come back to the center. And let's touch the floor, separate your feet, hip distance, and just have a very passive fold. Maybe even interlace the hands behind the head and not really pulling, but just giving a little bit of an extra weight to your head to create some passive traction of the spine. And then release the arms and vertebra by vertebra, roll up into standing position. Exhale. So let us have a block. And we're coming into triangle pose legs. So with having the right leg in front and having the block just in front of the right foot. Left foot turns slightly in, and we'll bring the hands on the hips. And let us just rotate the hips toward the right foot and then back toward the left wall. Again, toward the right and toward the left. Notice how you may be uncomfortable in the right hip when you're trying to align your hips parallel to the long side of the mat. And just find the position when your hips are in a comfortable position toward the right edge of the mat. Find your hip crease and start folding forward. And don't collapse with the head. Think of alignment from the hip crease to the right shoulder. And continue to push the hips to the left. And then maybe some of you will be able to reach the block with the tip of the fingers only. Bring your left hand to your lower back and rotate the left shoulder back. Keep finding that the left leg is a support here. Your center of the pose is the abdomen, and then take your left arm up into full triangle. Bring the gaze up toward the left thumb. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the left hand to your lower back. Bring the right hand to the right hip and come a little bit higher. So make sure that you, again, understanding how the torso is folding here and then unfold up. So finding your other side. Turn the right foot in, turn the left foot out, and bring the block. Let's again exercise the hip rotations to start with. Because we in a triangle, the instructions asking us to have a chest open to this frontal plane, we think hips have to be open, and it's not necessarily true. So I wanted to play with the hips and understand where you're comfortable, and then just allow the right hip to come forward. Bring your left hand to the left hip crease and just extend your torso to the left, but not necessarily parallel to the floor. Maybe the crown of the head aligned toward the corner between ceiling and the wall in front of you. And then try to reach the block with just the tip of the fingers. Bring the right hand to your lower back first, and rotate your right shoulder back to start with. And then take the left arm up. Hold the triangle on the left side. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the right hand to your lower back. So engage your legs, engage your core. Release your left hand to the left side. Finding that your core is working, and then unfold up. Let us have a block inside the legs. Turn the toes in and then fold forward. Let's first come into the passive fold. Just releasing the hands toward the floor. Maybe you're using this block to support the forehead if you reach it there. And then very slowly come up into standing position. Let's turn the heels to be closed and toes out. So like you go into the squat, because that's where we're coming. We come into the squat and we're going to be just pulsing here. So I would like you to check that your heels are not closer than your knees. So you're not squatting this way, but you go into the what called sumo squat. So your shins are perpendicular to the floor. Very good, everyone. Try to keep your spine tall. Yep. Excellent. And then just come up. For this one, you might bring your feet a little bit more into parallel position, whatever feels right for you, but it gives you a little bit more support. And let's come as low as you can to the right side. You can keep your torso folding forward a little bit and then come up. And let's go the same to the left, as low as you can. And then come up. Let's do it 2 more times to each side. Come to the right and up. So both feet are on the floor right now. To the left and up. Try to keep your torso on the midline so you're not collapsing to the right. You are going just to the knees so your hips and shoulders align. Come up and go to the left and come up. So for this one, we had the heels on the floor. Let us now go as far as you can to the right side. You probably will be lifting your right heel and then open your left foot, so peel off your left toes and rotate the toes up toward the ceiling. Just feel here. And then just fold forward. And now bring the left foot down to the floor and with the help of the hands, move yourself to the left. Lift your left heel off the floor and rotate the right foot up. And then again, bring the foot down and move to the right. We're going to have 2 more like that. So external rotation of the hip. And then you rotate it in, move, and then external rotate of the right. Last time. Moving all the way to the right. And then moving last time to the left. And then come to the center and just bring your hands on the floor and bring your heels as close as it feels right for you, with not lifting the heels off the floor if you can, and come into Malasana, bringing elbows inside the knees. Try to press the palm and get your forearms parallel to the floor. Keep chest lifted forward. Hold 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the floor and just lift the hips up. Set your feet to come back hip distance and then very slowly come up into the standing position. Exhale. So let us shake the legs. I will practice the tree pose today, and I would like to challenge you today with a tree pose with a little bit different position for the leg. So not just the left foot on the ankle, but let us reach to the right ankle with the left hand and open the knee down. And bring the right hand on the center. If it's not available for you, of course, you can practice your regular tree pose with the foot down. Hold here, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent, everyone. Release the leg. So the right leg is stronger, so it's going to be a little bit easier. So when you're ready, just reach to your ankle with the right hand. Open the knee down as much as you can. And bring the left hand to the center of the heart, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Shake your legs and let's come to the front of the mat for one more flow before we go to the seated position. So get your breath rhythmic, and we'll use it with inhale. Lift the arms up, hinging from the hips. Exhale, fold. Bring the hands on the shins. Inhale into the position. Touching the floor, stepping the left foot back. Using the strong legs, lift the torso, lift the arms up into the warrior one. This time gaze is to the front. You just keep the arms aligned with your ears. Back leg supporting, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the hips, drop the left heel down and come into warrior 2 position. Front knee 90 degree, taking the arms wide. Make sure that you're not going with the right arm too far forward. Shoulders sit above the hips, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the left hand to the left thigh. Turn the palm up toward the ceiling and come into reverse warrior. Don't worry to go down with your arm. You can just keep your arm up toward the ceiling to just open the right side of the body. Holding 4, 3, 2, 1. Return back into the warrior 2, the shoulders above the hips. And just very light touch with the right elbow to the right thigh, taking the left arm up toward the ceiling or maybe slightly above the head. But make sure that you're not collapsing forward. If your shoulder is not allowing you to be comfortable, you can even have your left hand on your lower back. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Look down, rotate toward the front foot, lift the back heel off the floor, step into plank. Hold the plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees and come all the way down. Exhale. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage. Roll the shoulders back, pointing toes. Lift the chest off. And then tuck your toes. Exhale. Come into the downward dog. On next inhale, look forward and step your left foot forward. Bring the hands on the hips, lift the torso up. Back leg support and lift your arms up into the warrior 1. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop the back heel, open yourself to the right side of your mat into the warrior 2. Don't lose your 90-degree front knee. Make sure arms are stretched symmetrically to the front and back. Bring your gaze to the front for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the right hand to the right thigh. Take your left arm up toward the ceiling, slightly maybe above the head, but make sure that you feel that your shoulder cooperates here. Press your left knee forward a little bit more. Find a little bit more of the inner thigh work. Very good. Very good. On exhale, return back to the warrior 2. Shoulders above the hips. Then light touch with the left elbow to the left thigh, taking the right arm up or slightly above or even on your lower back, whatever your shoulder tells you. So you rotate it to the right, keeping chest open. Make sure you're not collapsing to your left shoulder. Use the neck here so the left side neck muscles are working here to maintain head parallel to the floor. And then look down, bring the hands on the floor, step into plank. Hold plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees down to the floor. Exhale, come down. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage. Roll the shoulders back. Point the toes. Lift the chest up. And then press yourself into child pose. Exhale. This child pose could be with the arms on the sides of the hips, palms facing the ceiling. Whatever feels right for you to relax here. A rounded spine. . then press yourself up and come into seated position. Right away come into 90-90. So 90-90, I'll remind you, is the position where you have your, so let's have a left thigh in front, right knee behind, your thigh and hip are parallel to each other, and your left hip and the right shin parallel. From here we're going to go just 5 movements from side to side. We already have the hips pretty warm, so should feel nice. We just want to do some advanced poses here, so that's why we'll keep moving. So make sure you have a decent distance between heel and the knee. Don't allow the knee to come forward if your hip allows you to get it back. Okay, so going maybe 2 more. Till we're coming all the way to the left side. So in the left side, just adjust yourself to be in the 90-90 position. And feet are flexed. So you're 90 degree in the left knee, 90 degree in the right knee. And now lean to the left a little bit to lift your right leg off the floor. And drop it down. And again, lift and drop it down. Try not to use your arms, but if you need, lean as much as you need to lift the leg. And down. One more time. Lift. And let us go to the other side. So let us come to the 90 degree on the other side. Again, you can have your arms on the floor. Arms supported, hands on the floor, or you can use with no arms. Lift the left leg and down. You do need to lean to the right to be able to lift. It's okay. And come down. If you need to come a lot, come a lot. Whatever your hip tells you to do. Don't create the cramps in your left hip. Lift and down. Last time. Lift and down. And let's go back to the left side 90 degrees. So just watch me. We practice that before you know the movement. We're going to be lifting the right knee, and then we're going to bring the knee to be one shin above the other. And then with alignment, heel above the heel, we'll open the right knee without touching the floor. Then we'll close back, and then we'll move it, and then we'll drop down. I know you love it. So let's do this. So you're in a 90-90. If you need your hands on the floor, welcome to support. And let's lift the right shin off the floor. Parallel to the floor, slide it to keep it above the left. And then open, external rotation. You are at this time dropping both hips on the floor, lengthening. Then we're going to close that without touching, and then we'll move it back like sliding parallel to the floor and drop. Let's go to the other side. Set yourself 90 degree, and then lean as much as you need. I'm always leaning more on my right to lift my left hip. Bring the shins parallel, open, sit tall, close, move back, drop. Let's do it one more time. Lift, bring in, open, close, move back, drop. Let's go back to our left knee in front, right leg. We're going to just add a little bit more. We're going to extend the leg, okay? So we're going to lift the right leg, slide it parallel to the left shin, open, sit tall, extend your right leg, heel out, yes, working. Bend the knee back, come into the left hip, move it back, and drop. Let's do it one more time. in case you loved it a lot and you want to repeat. Lift, bring it in. Open, sitting tall. Extend the right leg. Bring it in. Come to the left. Move back, drop, and let's go to the other side. That might feel very different because of your left hip. Maybe left hip doesn't like internal rotation. So when you're ready, lift the left leg, bring the knees one on the top of the other. Open, sitting tall, extend the left leg. Bend the knee again. Come all the way to the right hip, shins are parallel to each other. Move the leg back, drop it down. Lift, bring it in, open, extend, bend, come all the way back, move it back, and release. Okay, that's great. So let us just shake the legs here. Flex your feet and use your arms to elongate through the spine and start coming forward. So you're now working on your lower back stretch. You don't go low and you probably look quite high above the floor, just hinging from the hips, at the same time keeping your feet flexed. A lot of a stretch for the hamstring and quite intense stretch for the sacrum area. Hold it here. Close your eyes. So try to just move forward as much as you're able to go. If it's not happening at all, sit just tall and flex your feet. Maybe that's where you need to be today. And then let's bring the hands in front. Relax your toes and just drop the head down. Have a passive fold. Very slowly coming up, and we're coming into deer leg. So it's not 90-90. For the deer legs, you're able to bring your knee and heel in a comfortable way. So both knees are bent. Doesn't matter which side you are starting. I'm starting with my right knee in front, and then we're gonna rotate to the right, and we'll come into the fold. If it's too low for you to go to the floor, use the block for the forehead or for the chest. You will feel quite intense sensations around your right hip. Just be where you need to be. Twist as far as it feels right for you. Arms where it feels right for you as well. And let's hold here for 10 long, steady exhalations. And then very slowly, using your hands, lift the torso up and carefully unfold. Maybe allow your legs to relax, shaking them. And then we'll go to the other side. So again, depend which side you started. I'm started with my right knee in front. Now I have my left knee in front. So I'm rotating to the left and going toward the floor in a comfortable twist. So be careful how much you're twisting here. Comfortable position for legs, comfortable position for hips. Notice how that feels maybe very different. I don't even feel anything close to what I felt in my right hip and my left this way. So that's how we discover how a lot of asymmetry we have in the body. How hips and shoulders are different. And we hold in here for the 10 exhalations. Taking 2 more. And then the help of the left hands and arms, lift yourself up and we'll come into line on the back position. Let's start with the knees coming to the chest and rocking from side to side. Then let us extend the arms overhead and just check how you feel in your mid-back here. How you feel in the space of the shoulder blades. And then let us lift the legs up and shake them. And then we're going to just add the arms and shake the arms. And let's shake it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and find your way to extend your legs and keep your heels as wide as it feels right for your hips and take your arms wide as well. If it's comfortable to turn the palms up toward the ceiling. Maybe it's even closer to T position. I'm pretty sure at home you have enough space around your mat. Adjust the back of your head. Adjust your pelvis. Let's together take a deep inhale and exhale through the mouth. And as we're practicing Shavasana, let's start with scanning the 4 corners on the floor. Let's start with the left hip. How you feel your left hip. How you feel your left leg extends from it. Are you able to turn your toes slightly out? And it feels right. Bring your awareness to the right hip. How your right hip feels. Do you feel more sensation in the right hip that you feel in the left, or vice versa? Notice how the right leg extends from the hip all the way to the heel and your toe falls out a bit. Then just scan the whole pelvis and notice how pelvis is comfortable on the floor. Visualize how the spine comes off the pelvis all the way up toward the base of the skull. Make sure your spine is all relaxed. Come with your awareness to your left shoulder. Keep your left shoulder blade relaxed. Keep your left front of the shoulder relaxed and let your arm be extended from the shoulder out to any degree that feels right. Bring your awareness to the right shoulder. Keep your right shoulder blade grounded. Keep relaxed front of the shoulder and extend your right arm. Then scan the left and the right shoulder Notice if it feels different. Do you need to adjust to feel symmetrical in the shoulders? And here we will hold for another minute in stillness, mindfully doing nothing. When you're ready, allow the movements to return, starting with wrist, fingers, ankles, toes, the knees and elbows till you're ready to bring your knees to your chest. Maybe you arch a little bit in your lower back, so just massage the lower back here. And then when you're ready, roll to one side and come into seated position. And come to the cross leg position, and then I want you to change the leg. So unconsciously you always come with your comfortable hip leg in front. So change that. So I'm coming with my right ankle always. So I want to change and have my left ankle in front. And then adjust that. Just take a moment to settle in this pose. Maybe with closed eyes. And scan your hips. How do you feel in this different, new position? Then bring your hands in front of the heart. Thank yourself for being able to practice today, targeting a very challenging areas, very challenging joints of the body. But I hope that you will feel very mobile today in a physical and emotional level. Namaste.